Who do we have on the phone today?
This is Justin Bonitz from Tallah.
Tala. And where's Tala from?
We say we're from Pennsylvania, but we kind of have members like all over the place, like Massachusetts, New Jersey, North Carolina, Arizona, but we all just kind of converge, like Pennsylvania's home base.
And is that where you're from originally?
No, I'm originally from Connecticut.
Oh, nice. Have you? But you're not from there anymore?
No, I moved to Massachusetts when I was young, and then I've been there pretty much ever since.
Huh. And how old are you?
I'm 32.
Oh, 32. Okay. You're not 22, but close enough, right?
Yeah. Max is 20, 22, 23.
Oh, okay. He's the youngster in the band.
Yeah, him and Alex, the rhythm guitarist, they're both the same age.
I see. Are you the more mature one in the band?
No. I'd say we're all about the same. 10 years isn't really a huge maturity gap from like the 20s to 30s.
And how do you like living where you live?
It's pretty nice. I'd say the winter's a little too long. Like, ideally, I'd like to move a little bit more south and maybe only have to deal with like 3 months of winter instead of like 6.
Have you spent much time in California?
I've been to California a few times. It's beautiful.
Do you recall the weather when you were here?
Yeah, so I've been in the winter and I've been in the spring. In the winter, it just seemed like kind of nice, kind of dry out. In the spring, it was like really, really like, I don't even know how to describe it. There was a lot of smog. I was in, what is it?
I know you guys played Sacramento once, at least, but
yeah, this time it was Los Angeles, and that was rough. That was like, I got this text on my phone that was like, "Don't go outside right now, smog warning." And
Tala, the band, you guys have just you put out your second album in September, is that correct?
November. It got pushed back.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, November the 18th. The Generation of Danger.
Yeah, that's the one.
How did you guys come up with that title, and what other titles were considered that didn't make it?
That actually was like the only title we came up with. It's just a lyric I took from the song Telescope. We just thought it was like a cool lyric, and we were like, yo, that should be the album title. And there you go.
And the album is, you guys are on Earache Records. Earache is the label that's put you guys out again. Is that right?
Yep.
How much input do they have in what you guys do, releasing it through their label?
Not that much. They pretty much let us, like, musically, we do whatever we want. Like, visually with our videos, we do whatever we want. They obviously, they control, like, the budgets and whatnot, and they kind of collaborate with us on, like, the release dates. Like, they'll be like, here's a good time. Pick, this month. And then we'll be like, okay, we're going to be on tour this month. Let's maybe do this month. And so, but for the most part, like, creatively, they just let us do what we want to do. They're awesome.
But you don't reach out to them there's no outside advice. Maybe probably through your management and stuff like that. You guys work with them on that, or is it just you guys and like you said, you're the only ones that work on it?
I mean, like that with the music, yeah, we're the only ones that work on it. Like, the only outside advice we would really have is like when we're in the studio, we work with Josh Stroder as our producer, and he might be like, hey, let's speed this song up a little bit, or like, hey, maybe we should clean this part up, or like, let's add on to the, end of the song. Like, he'll collaborate with us on that because he's the producer, that's his job. But the label itself, no, they don't really have any like influence over what we do. They just like, we give them the ideas, and if they like it, they give us the budget and let us do it.
Do you have any favorite artists from the past or current that are on Earache Records?
Oh, for sure. I'm pretty sure the band Clutch is on Earache, or was at some point, and they're one of my
new metalcore. Is that an accurate description of what you guys play?
Personally, I don't think so. Like, we do definitely have new metal influences, but the core part of our like genre comes from like hardcore and deathcore. We don't really have like a ton of metalcore influences.
When you say new metal, are you talking Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, or does it go deeper than that?
Oh yeah, like there's Korn, there's Deftones, there's Slipknot, Disturbed, Linkin Park. Like, you could probably pull out like Cold Chamber. There's a lot of like the 90s and early 2000s new metal just kind of like strewn in there.
It was a beautiful time.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite genres of music.
Yeah, it's pretty it's not very it's not too narrow. The visions back then weren't so narrow. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd say it was an interesting time because like censorship stuff was starting to relax a little bit more, and it just seemed like a lot of these bands, like Linkin Park, was really like, they didn't just want to be like a new metal band. They're like, let's rap, let's sing, let's scream, let's make more like radio songs, let's have our own road show, let's have our own like they pretty much had like a Patreon going on before Patreon was even a thing. Huge visions. Like, it was just a great time to grow up listening to music, for sure.
So what are some of your earliest memories surrounding music in childhood? And at what point did you discover heavy metal and eventually end up deciding what instrument you would be?
Oh, so that's a fun story. I'll try to give you the short one, but I started off as like a guitar player when I was like 10. I just wanted to play an instrument, and my mom was like, all right, you'll play guitar because girls like guitars. So I learned how to play guitar, and I played like in church. I was like 11 years old, just like ripping these little acoustic guitar solos for like Ode to Joy and stuff like that. And eventually I graduated to electric guitar. I got into like Lynyrd Skynyrd and Van Halen. And somewhere along the line, I got super into punk, and then I got into Disturbed and like Lamb of God, and it just got heavier and heavier and heavier. And then by the time I was like 17, I started like recording my own music and just like doing vocals in the car. I started my first band. We needed a vocalist, and I was like, I'll do it. And eventually I just kind of set the guitar aside and just like started really focusing on vocals, and then here we are today.
That's awesome. And what kind of effects are you playing with? And are you playing around with different microphones? I know it's Shure 58 has been a standard for a very long time. Yeah,
live I use live I use like the PG something. It's a Shure wireless kit, and it comes with 2 mics. So I use that most of the time. Sometimes I'll end up using like the SM58 Beta A or whatever it's called. But like live, those are really the only 2 that I use. In the studio, I've tried so many mics. I really, really like the Aston Spirit. That's probably my favorite. And then the M Audio, like Sputnik, is the one we use for Matrifugy, and that one, beautiful mic. So I've tried a bunch of different things. I can't really stand the SM7B. I just don't like the way it sounds. Like, it sounds very muffled to me. But I don't know. It's just like different mics do different things for your voice, and you just try to find the one that really like brings out how it's supposed to sound, you know?
And are there any effects that you play with? I'm not a singer, but I imagine there are effects obviously available to all. Is there something that you've played with?
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Like in the studio, obviously we're going to put reverb on my voice. We're going to use compressors and like equalizers to make it sit well in the mix. You throw some delay on there for certain parts to make them hit harder. But like, I don't really like doing too much because we're a really like raw sounding band. So we don't want it to sound overproduced or like over affected. Live, I don't do anything. Like if the sound guy decides to like throw some random delay on my voice or something, like I didn't tell him to do that. I just try to be as just neutral and raw as possible.
Lately, there's been a lot of moaning about backing tracks, and I call it moaning because I mean it's music, and I think it should be played with. And I don't know, but anyway, there's a lot of moaning going on with backing tracks. What is your feeling on that? And are there backing tracks being used in Talla live?
So Talla, we don't play to like a click track, so we couldn't use backing tracks if we wanted to because the tempos are all over the place. It's just whatever Max feels in the moment. Sometimes he speeds up, sometimes he slows down. We have a DJ, so if we want like 808s and like synth stuff or keys, he does it just right there on the fly because he can do that. But like we wouldn't be able to backtrack vocals or guitars or anything like that because it wouldn't like line up. But I don't really care if bands use backing tracks as long as they're like honest. Like if a fan goes up and is like, "Whoa, you guys sound just like the album," and they're like, "Oh, thanks," and they don't say like, "Hey, yeah, that's because we have backing tracks," I think that's a little dishonest, I guess.
Sure.
But in my opinion, like you should go out there and do whatever is gonna sound the best for your band and like sell your vision. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and you shouldn't be raked over the coals for it.
No, absolutely not. Like I said, like as long as people are honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with using backing tracks. Like I know if you're like a super big like band, like something like Lorna Shore, where you've got all these orchestral elements in the background, it's like, are you going to hire a whole orchestra to do that? Or are you just going to throw a backing track on and make it sound more epic?
How cool is it to see a band like Lorna Shore really break wide open like that?
Oh, I'm so happy for them. To me, that is the coolest thing because with metal, it's kind of like a niche genre. Like it's just really never been as big as like pop or like rap.
Right.
And you've got bands like Metallica and like Slipknot and Linkin Park that really pop out there. But seeing like a deathcore band like Lorna Shore just start to take over and really bring screaming and like heavy guitars and stuff like that to the forefront of people's like attention, I'm just like so happy for them because they're doing a huge service for the other bands because people are going to want to explore the genre.
And in my opinion, they're really, really good.
Oh yeah, Lorna Shore is incredible. I followed them through all three of their vocalists, and I'm just like, this band just keeps going, and it's just really cool to watch.
I know if there's one band that's gone through the ringer lately, it would be Lorna Shore.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they've been a band for what, like 12 years or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
They've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs. We played a show with them back in 2019 when they had their previous vocalist, and they were probably like the size we are right now. And so just seeing how like much progress they made in like, what is that, 4 years? Like it's just insane to me. Like I'm just in awe, I guess. It's so cool.
And social media is still a massive thing. Do you think it's harder navigating all the platforms in social media?
Absolutely.
Has it gotten more difficult over the years?
Yeah, I definitely say so. Like I have a couple YouTube channels. One has like 150,000 subscribers. The other one's like 90 something. And it's just, there are so many people making content now, especially on like TikTok and stuff like that it's hard to compete. It's like those videos are like what, a minute to 3 minutes long. It's like, why, like people don't have the attention span to watch me talk about vocals for 20 minutes now.
That's true.
It's hard, but that's where our DJs really just like a master. He loves social media and he's really good at it. So we're just like, yo, you can do it. We'll just give you the content. You go out there and you make the posts and do your thing, man.
And what about reaction videos? Reaction videos have definitely blown up into an art form of their own.
Oh, I love reaction videos. When we drop a new song, like as a band, we'll just start pulling them up on our phones and just like watch them. And we're like, dude, did you see this guy react to us? Like it's cool, but it's just amazing because it's like you don't have to pay for ads. People just want to react to your stuff and you get free promotion from that. Like, in my opinion, that's part of the reason Lorna Shore got as big as they are now is when they put out To the Hellfire, it like broke the internet.
That's true. It did, didn't it?
Yeah. It was just so cool to watch. Like, there are people like Charismatic Voice where she like lost her mind watching this and ended up doing like a whole video where she got like flew the will out and did like a laryngoscopy and like prove to the world that like, hey, doing these harsh vocals, if you're doing them right, it's not dangerous at all. And it's just really opening people's minds. And I'm so thankful for that.
Well, awesome. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us here at MetalgodZradiO. What's on the horizon for Talla over the next 12 months?
Oh, man. Well, I think we just announced we're going to be playing Sonic Temple. And we've got a couple other festivals that we're not allowed to talk about yet, but they're pretty big. We'll be on those. We're trying to book some tours around that so that we can just be out and about, and hopefully we get some good like supporting tours.
Metal, 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 gods!